Evening all, Daniel Hand, your very own RPG therapist, coming back to you after a bit of a hiatus. Sorry for the disappearing act. I think I've mentioned previously that life is suboptimal at the moment, and yeah, I'm just running around like a bit of a headless chicken. Because of that, again, we're going to have a fairly simple episode today. I thought I would have a look at drawing another map for us, like I did a little while ago. But whereas that was kind of just a general map building exercise, I thought I would have a look at how to create a map very specifically for our clients. If you've seen my book, Role Playing Games in Psychotherapy, A Practitioner's Guide, available Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and wherever you get your reading material, um, you'll know that I advocate, rather than world building for our clients, what I call locale building. You don't want to create too big an area because most of it just won't get explored. Your client will feel swamped in all the opportunities and the possibilities, and it's a lot of work for not sufficient return. So, as I say, I really advocate keeping the game world quite small and simple when it comes to using RPGs with our clients. That being said, let's get into it. So, really, all you need something to draw with and a piece of paper. I hope most of us have access to them. First thing to do really is to divide the paper up into a grid of some sort. A lot of games use hexes, but for obvious reasons, they're quite difficult to measure out and draw. I haven't drawn a proper hexagon, I think, since I was doing GCSE maths. Simplest way, you can either draw some grids, or what I do, I just fold the paper up. So as you would a letter, just fold it into roughly thirds. It doesn't matter if you're slightly off. Okay. If you want to be very particular, by all means use a ruler, but I can't be bothered. So fold it into thirds, then I fold that in half again. So that gives us kind of 6 columns. And to give it roughly square shape, I mean, it's not exact, but it's, again, close enough. So just fold it in half. And then fold it in half again. If you want to make it more distinct, as I say, you can draw it, but for my purposes, this is sufficient. I don't know if it's coming up very well under the light, but just by doing that, I've got a 6x4 grid of different areas that we can put things in, and we can put the map in front of our client and say, your character is here, where would you like to go, what would you like to do? So, and a 4x6 grid, more than sufficient for an entire therapeutic process, to take place in. Give your client plenty to play with, plenty of opportunities to confront their issues, and just lots of play to be had. And once you've done that, once you've divided up your grids, it's just time to get on with it, really. First job, obviously, is deciding what kind of map you're doing. A huge majority of RPGs are fantasy based, so today we're going to have a look at a fantasy map, but you could be drawing a space map, a city map, and any number of things. So have an idea of what kind of map you're drawing. As I say, today we're going to stick with your cliche fantasy area. So first thing you want to do is give your client's character somewhere to call home, a safe space of some kind. Usually sensible if you put it somewhere in the center of the map. That way the character can go home, then go and have a wander around and see things. But of course, there is nothing stopping you from putting it a bit further towards the edge. Get some input from the client if all else fails. Just say, where would you like your character to live? What kind of place would they like to live in? A city, a village, etc. And then you just put something in. I say we'll put in a village here. We're not master cartographers here. We're just putting in symbols to represent what we want. So for a village, just put a couple of houses. Simple as. Maybe a church or temple of some kind. I'm using a fountain pen here, as you can see. Not necessarily the best accessories to use at this stage, but it shows up easier on the camera. But I would strongly advise just using pencil and being able to rub things out. What else are we going to have? Let's just, I don't know, just another couple of buildings here and there. Again, nothing. We're not claiming to be artists here. It's just something to keep us going. I don't know what that was supposed to be, but we'll deal with it. So yeah, there you go. Just somewhere say, okay, this is your character's home. You can help them come up with a name for it. It could be RPGville. It could be, I don't know, Demelzaland. Whatever. Just have fun. Name things. And once you've got somewhere for the character to live, then it's time to populate the place with adventures to go. I tend to start with rivers, just because I can put things in around them. So we'll do that here. To draw a river, very simple. So I'm coming in from this side. It's just a wobbly line with another wobbly line with some wobbly lines going down the middle. Simple as. And if you see, I'm putting the icons quite firmly in a particular square. That way, when the character travels from one square to another, you can introduce a new description, a new obstacle, a wandering monster, any number of things. By dividing the map up into distinct areas, it allows for easier control of the game, if you want to use that term. And you don't really want to have one block of a river here and then another one there. So I'm just going to carry on this river, make it go all the way around, and then we'll do something over here, I think. So again, just wobbly line, wobbly line, wobbly, wobbly, wobbly line. And okay, yeah, this one's going to make it look a bit angular, but hey, who cares? Just let it go around. And just follow it on. If you want to create a coastline, it's best to get an idea of where the coast is for you. And if the character wants to go on an adventure to a mysterious island, for example, you're going to want to have an idea of where the coast is so the river can go to it. So let's just say the coast starts over here. Again, just wobbly line through one square, have it come around the other. And then I'm just going to say that the river, shall we go down there? Or shall we go straight over? Let's just go straight over. Let's keep it simple. So leave a space for that. And then just continue the wobbly line patrol. go. And of course, you could make these more ornate if you wanted to. I'm just here to show you how simple it can be. Because a lot of people say that they can't draw, and hopefully, just by showing you this, I can prove how emphatically not true that is. Because all this is a few wobbly lines. And then when you come to the coast, you can do a couple of things. You could do waves like we did on our last map, or for this, I often just have the wobbly lines just go along the coast. And there you go. So all of a sudden, we have a village on a river next to the coast. And if we want to have an island over here, why not? Why not? Let's just put something over here. And again, just putting a few wavy lines around just to make it look a bit better. So already we have things for the client character to do. If they want to get over here, whatever's here, they've got to cross the river. How do they go about that? Is it a dangerous river? Is it a gentle river? Are there fords? Are there stepping stones? Does something live in it? Are there monsters? Are there river maidens? Is there buried treasure? Is the water magic? Will it do something if you drink it? Just by having that single landmark means that you've got things to work with. Okay, you've still got to put some thought into the actual details. So you might decide that there are some river maidens who will grant you wishes if you answer a riddle, and they live in this particular square here. But at the same time, there is a river serpent that lives in here, and if you want to cross over here, you've got to fight it, for example. Any number of things. You've got to put some thought into it, but again, we're not talking complex here. Hopefully, if I can drive anything home in this channel, it's that we want to keep it as simple as possible, because we've got things to do that don't involve drawing and planning the next game, because I like to eat every now and again, for example. So we've got the rough layout of the map here, and we just really decide what else we want to go. Let's say that there are some mountains over here, just so that we've got a bit of changed terrain. These are really just upside down V's, but again with a wobbly line. Again, keeping the iconography to specific squares, just for ease of use. So upside down V, upside down V. And then if you want to shade it in, shade, he says, rather optimistically. Yeah, and that'll do. And what lives in those mountains? Is there a hidden city? Are there trolls? Are there yetis? Who knows? I'm going to have... Let's say they carry on up here. Again, you can draw more, you can draw fewer. You can draw it so that they're connected, so they're like a ridge of mountains. This tends to be easier than that, but your mileage may vary. Shall we go? Yeah, stuff it. Why not? Don't at me for geographic inconsistencies. I'm aware that it would be unlikely for a river to go straight towards mountains, but again, simplicity. And ask yourself questions whilst you're drawing. So again, what is in these places? Are there monsters? Are there treasures? Are there hidden locations? Is there something on this mountain square that isn't in this mountain square, for example? But again, just to keep an eye on the broader view of things. The client character has a home. They've got some landmarks here, got some landmarks here. You can say already, okay, your character's here. Where do you want to go? They'll say, I want to go to the mountains because I've heard a rumor that there is a lost city somewhere in the mountains. Okay, so show me how you're going to get there. So they've got to go through this square here. Then, can you see the squares? Yeah, there we go. So they'll have to go through this square here, then this square here, and then move along, and they can explore until you decide that they stumble upon what they're looking for, or, if you're running out of time in the day, just discovering that there's nothing to discover. The other easy thing to add tends to be forests and marshes, or wetlands. Wetlands, easy to do. They're just a couple of kind of upside down W's made out of lines. So you just kind of got one there. There you go. That's a square of marshland on the coast. Let's put another one here. So what exists in the marshlands? There are so many stories about the mystery on the marshes, because obviously they're associated with mists, and if you've seen Lord of the Rings, dead bodies lying underneath the water. Don't follow the light. Will-o'-the-wisps just hanging in the night air. Is there something magical about this marsh? Are the ghosts haunting it? Is there a magic sword lying in the water somewhere with the Lady of the Lake ready to give it out? Insert Monty Python, the Holy Grail reference here about not being a proper way of dispensing government. So yeah, again, your character might decide to go to the mountains. They might decide to go to explore the marsh. They might want to search the river for buried treasure. They might want to get a boat and go over to the island. Any number of things. And just to add a bit more character show, so let's put a few woodland squares in. Trees, just bouncy, just cloud shapes, or cloud-shaped lollipops. Cloud, stick underneath. Cloud, stick underneath. Cloud, etc. And once again, what's in these woods? Are there monsters? Mutated beastmen? Are there hidden ruins? Ancient archaeological sites? Burial mounds? Ghosts? Treasures? What story can you tell using the tiles that you're giving your client? And let's say the river runs through the woods, because why not? Let's say it goes all the way down here. So if you want to cross the river this way, you have to go through some woodland to get to this side of the mountains. Cloud, stick. Because at the end of the day, we've all heard fairy tales, we've seen movies. We could put an elven city in one of these squares. We could put, the remains of an ambushed convoy somewhere. We could put the Robin Hood's hideout or a Robin Hood-esque character's hideout in places. And again, we've already got so much to deal with here. You can, if you want to just give your client a wandering monster, they've gone up into the woods, describe what the woods are like. It's quite gloomy. You've got the rustle of the leaves everywhere. It's muddy. And suddenly a thing comes at you. It's time to fight. Or the trees are ruffling, it's muddy, it's gloomy, and just up ahead you see what looks like a wall. And as you get closer, more details become apparent until you realize that there's an entire lost temple complex here, all with just a few scribbles. And if you want to give something very specific for the client character to look for, let's just say there's a castle here, for example. We'll put a castle right here. Nothing amazing, much like everything else. Keep it very simple. Give it a big tower for some reason, because why not? Again, if you want to make it neater, you could use a ruler to do details like this. But entirely unnecessary. So what lives in that castle? Is it a wizard? Is it a haunted castle? Is it actually ruins? What goes on there? Is there a secret passage into the castle from the mountains? Are there dungeons underneath it? Are there mines? Just by throwing these icons at the paper, all of a sudden we have so many options. We've got a marsh there, as I say. Ghosts, magic swords, the bodies of fallen warriors, forests, ruins, monsters, etc. Mountains, dungeons, lost cities, dwarves. We can make up so much just by doodling. And hopefully, if this video has done anything, it's shown that it doesn't take a master artist to create a location map for your client's therapy. By the time you get to this stage, you'll have created a character with them, and now that character has a setting to follow their adventures through. Next step, for anybody who's read the book will know, is to create some obstacles. And just by putting this map together, we have plenty of options for said obstacles, all from a pen and a folded piece of paper. So I hope that's helped demonstrate just how easy it is. And okay, yeah, there are so many magnificent fantasy maps out there, and it can be very easy to become overwhelmed and lose confidence. Don't compare yourself to professional map makers. Just do this. You can color them in even, just to show you a few others that I have tried my hand at in the past. If I can get it over here without knocking my entire desk off. Yeah, there we go. Similar layout, but obviously different types of iconography. I've got mountain ridge there, and got forest, got river, got bird's eye view of the castle there. Again, same again, simple. What's this valley here? When I drew that, I imagined that being kind of a valley just plagued with monsters. It used to be a good trade route, but now you just can't go through there without fighting monsters. These are just scribblings, and just I experimented here with smaller squares, but just do whatever you feel comfortable doing. Guys, I hope you found this informative. Again, apologies for the delay between videos, but I will try and be a bit more regular. Can't promise, but I will try. Any questions, any thoughts, please do pop them down in the comments below. I always love hearing from you. And yeah, you just, yeah, if you've got a map to show us, please do let us know. But until next time, take it easy. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and have a good one. Cheers.